Howdy folks, it's Age of the Hunting Gear Guy, and this is the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. Just got it. The reason why I got this was I needed to get pass-through. I needed to be able to hear myself and the podcast people I talk to do live podcasting. Some streamers would need to do something similar to this, but I thought that this would do a better job than what my previous setup was. I'm going to switch over to my camera so it's a little bit easier to see, and it's not quite so crappy as my webcam, but this is what most people will be seeing. And I get to use my fancy mic, and I get to use my headset, and I get pass-through so I can hear myself and everything around. But let's take a closer look at this thing and talk a little bit about the features. All right, I lied. I got to do a little bit with more with my webcam. This is the solution that I had been using for podcasting and live video and that kind of thing for a while. This is an Antlion mod mic. The sound off is really good. So one of the problems I had is that a lot of gaming headsets had really good sound, really good seal, but the microphones were crap. And it's so hard to find a good gaming headset with a decent mic that doesn't look all flashy and like it's coming straight out of Tokyo Drift. So the mod mic is nice and plain. It looks fine. It sticks out quite far from the headset, and you got two wires that come off it, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but at least the sound quality is good, or at least okay. The thing that I dislike about it is that, two things. One of them that's specific to this mic, and one of them that's not. The specific thing to this mic, it's a little bit tinny. It's not quite as good as something like this with a large cordioid. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm going to tell you what I've tried. Don't take me as an expert on this kind of stuff. This one's got a bigger microphone on it, and it sounds a lot better. Sounds much better than this one. Even though this one sounds pretty good as far as like headset mics go. So to bring you up to speed, I was using this for live video. It's okay. It stays a nice consistent distance away from my mouth, and I don't get very many popped P's or anything like that. But I don't really like the sound. And the thing with these headsets, specifically these ones, I got these ones because they seal really well against my head. They don't like any sound get out from the headset to the microphone, which is like if you're doing live video, one of the things that happens is that people wear like the on-ear headphones or over-the-ear headphones that don't seal very well. And anytime you let sound escape from the speaker to the microphone, you get a little bit of echo, and it makes it sound like crap. And I didn't want that to happen, so I've got nice good seals on these things. But I can't really hear what's happening in my room. So like sirens could be going off outside, cat could be scratching at the door, kids could be running around screaming and yelling. I'd never hear it. But you would, the listener would, because you're listening to the microphone and I can't hear it. I don't have like a loopback through this thing. So the things that I was looking for was some form of loopback. You could do software loopback in Windows and that kind of thing, but it adds there's a little bit of a delay in there, and it's enough of a delay. One of the things that happens if you add a delay to the microphone of like 20 to 50 milliseconds, it destroys your speech patterns. And like if you've seen some of my videos, you know that they're not very good anyways. So I needed a better solution, something that would let me listen into the mic, hopefully using this one because the quality off this one's fantastic. But I needed something else. One issue with this mic, so this mic sounds fantastic, but because it's a cardioid mic, it picks up everything in this room. So cats scratching at garbage, people knocking, any of that kind of thing. You'll hear it. I won't. And that was an issue. I was using this one with USB. There's the USB cable dangling right there. That was easy enough. A lot of video conferencing software these days is really good on audio cleaning up, so they do it on their own. They manage dynamic volume, all that kind of thing. So if I move back or forth as I was talking, your Zoom and Google Meet and that kind of thing, they mostly handle it, so it's not such a big deal. The ones that don't, though, pretty big deal. And because, again, I don't have that loop back to myself, I don't know that, oh, yeah, I'm actually like a foot away, and that volume difference from a foot to 6 inches is massive. So that was another issue that I was running into. So I started looking into mixers so that I could get that feedback and also pull it through the computer. One of the misadventures that I went through early on was this guy. And anyone who's serious and looking at this mixer is probably looking at this and thinking, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I don't. But you'll watch this video anyways, because I have a very specific use case that I couldn't find another video on. Again, video, streaming, podcasting, that kind of thing. this wasn't good. The noise floor on it was terrible, which means that even with nothing going on, it was just constant hiss and the crucial thing I needed to have happen was I needed to connect via USB. I needed the microphone to go into the computer. I needed the mixer to feed that back into my headset, and I needed audio from the computer in my headset as well, because I need to listen to other people and what they're doing, and I need to listen to myself and get that instantaneous feedback. I need that live connection loop. This one says it worked with USB, but I could never get it to do the USB audio thing with the computer. So no good with that. I went back to using this and USB. And then just recently I was looking around again because one of the other guys on the podcast I'm on was getting into mixers, and I was like, man, I should get a mixer and like finally get this thing sorted out. A lot of people who get mixers are getting them to play guitar and record live audio and that kind of thing. Not my use case. Don't really care about it. So I was looking around at some different alternatives, and I came across the Focusrite Solo. This is the version 3, and the idea with this one is that it's got a very limited number of inputs and outputs. We've got one input there for voice. There's your cardioid style. Well, I guess you could use the other style. It's an XLR plug anyways. 48 volt for mics like that one, and then you've got like a standard instrument in for guitar and that kind of thing. So you could do like vocals and guitar with this thing. And that's it. So if that's your use case, fantastic. It's not my use case. I'm going to try to do a bunch of wacky stuff with this thing, though, so that you can see what it does. Primarily, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect that USB-C guy on the back, plug that into my computer, get audio running through this thing, and I'm also going to plug my headsets into the monitor here. So I'm going to be able to click this button, get direct monitor. So I'm going to be able to get that loop from that microphone back into my headset and the computer audio into my headset, and it's going to be magic. You'll see. It's going to be magic. All right, now we have things connected in through the Focusrite Solo. I am using that mic. Not that one. You can't hear anything on that one, right? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one we're using. So now I can hear myself. I can hear my my voice through the microphone into the headset, and I can also hear my computer. So if I had YouTube playing, or if I was on a Zoom call or something like that, I could hear the other people on the call talking with me. I can control my own monitor, so if I want to hear myself more or less, that's fairly easy to do just with the monitor control. And if I want to crank up the audio on the microphone, that's fairly easy to do as well, and that'll give a cleaner signal to the computer or whatnot. Now, this is the primary use case for me. I don't need to do anything else. I'm done. That's literally all. I mean, I'll tie this up a little bit on the arm here, and maybe get a better connector for my headset, because this crappy connection here is moving around, and I need something that's going to be a little bit more stable for me. But that's it. I'm done. I've got my connection. I've got everything working how I need it to do, and it sounds really good too. But there are a couple of extra things I could do, and there's a couple of extra things I want to show you as well. So I'm going to... Ooh, how am I going to do this? I guess I'll dual record. I'll get video on this thing as well, just so that you can see both, and should be fun to record, but you'll get to see what it looks like. All right. And one of the cool things is, before I couldn't hear this, now I can actually hear those birds outside, which you probably can too if you listen really carefully. Yeah, maybe you can. As you can see here, I can see from this LED what my levels are like. So if I peak, they might get a little bit red, and I can see that they're clipping there. I have to get pretty loud though. That's that's some pretty shouty behavior going on in order to get those things red. You can see there that I've got the 48 volt phantom power going through there, which is what I need. It's also got this air mode that will change the sound of what it sounds like. So I'll just enable that right now. I can't really tell the difference, but I watched an audiophile do some tests with this, and it seemed to make maybe a little bit of difference. Maybe it was more airy. Maybe it would, like, the peak was going up, I guess. But whatever. Then we have our gain for our second plug. Again, this would be for your guitar or whatever. If you're in a band, or I don't know, went to band camp or something like that. There's your gain for that guy, and then there's your switch to instrument plug instead of line in. I don't know. I'm not a drummer or a guitar player or anything like that. So yeah, there's your second input, and then there's your monitor for your headset. So you can turn that up or down to determine how loud that is in your headphones, which is also kind of nice. I might use this instead of I don't know, doing the Microsoft thing and cranking up the sound through there or using my keyboard. There's the direct monitor button, so turning that off means that I can no longer hear my microphone. This is what it used to be like, just me talking into oblivion and it being completely quiet. But oh boy, that's nice. Just being able to hear myself is really nice on this thing. Going around to the back of this guy, we've got like a Kensington laptop lock, so you can lock it, I guess. Maybe that would be like a security thing if you're on location somewhere. There's a USB-C connection on here, and then we have a line out right and left. Now, one thing to note, that left is the microphone, the right is the guitar. So just food for thought if you want to connect that up to something afterwards. So this is the good microphone. What if we connect in like a crappy microphone and see how it sounds? Test. There it goes. Okay, so it took a little while to power that thing up. Maybe a 3-second lag before this microphone was going, but you can hear this microphone sounds a lot better than those other two that I ran. So I'll probably run with this one because it sounds much better. But one thing that I'll need to keep in mind is that I do need to make sure that I keep a certain distance away from it. I can crank up the gain like this, and that's another option. But I kind of like the sound when the gains is just a little bit lower, and I can just control my voice or how close I am to the microphone to use it. So again, that was the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, just a tiny little USB mixer that I'm going to be using for streaming and video and podcasting and that kind of thing. Sounds really good. I am doing a podcast in a couple of days, so I'll release this video after I do the podcast and add in anything I learned in that podcast. Thanks for watching.